What's going on, people? So I'm going to make this video talking about the Direct Mini, or the Mini directly disappointing reasons why that shit was fucking stupid. Now, I watched it before I went to work, and it gave me plenty of time to think of a whole lot of shit, and mainly think of a whole lot of reasons as to why, hey, should I like it, should I hate it? And I developed this list that I have here beside me. I have my laptop here, and I figured, you know what, I'm gonna write them down instead of just trying to figure it out and repeat, maybe even repeat a few of them. I wrote them down. So, um, why was today's direct so fucking disappointing? First of all, it wasn't even a direct. It was this little YouTube video showing clips and snippets of games with voiceovers, and the guy was just talking about a game as it goes. This isn't a direct. Okay? So the first thing we have is it wasn't really a direct. Alright, that's the first thing. Second thing is the time. Directs usually run about 30 minutes, maybe 45, if not an hour, depending on how much they cram in there. And this was 20 minutes. This wasn't a direct. They called it a direct mini. Okay? So, first of all, you have a direct that is directly disappointing because it's 20 minutes long. Not a good start. This is the first thing you do for the new year, is you start off with a 20-minute voiceover video. This isn't good. This is not good. Okay, so the another reason why I didn't like it, what was all the fucking Wii U ports? What the hell was that about? On top of the Wii U ports, I'm gonna add on another thing, and this is part of my list too. Why so many fucking re-releases? Now I understand the Wii and the Wii U, Nintendo, you missed a lot of games. I get that. Okay? I have nothing against that. I get it. You missed a shit ton of games in those years. But you don't need to put in a direct all the re-releases and all them fucking ports. It's eating up way too much time. Okay? Nor do you need to have your big announcement at the end of the direct be a re-release. That's not good. That's not a good look. You have way too many people who are wanting information on way too many fucking games, and you decide to release information about a re-release. Now I know plenty of people who are super excited about Dark Souls and the fact that it's coming out, but it's not one of the bigger titles. Okay, that game is across the board. It doesn't fucking matter. I know that's going to piss off some people that I say it doesn't fucking matter, but when we're talking about Nintendo Direct, Nintendo, people are looking for answers, and you did not deliver, okay? So, that's the biggest thing here, is you just didn't deliver here. This mini 20-minute video of someone talking over and just voiceovering little snippets of games failed in so many ways, and that was probably the biggest one of all. Yes, you dropped the video, but here's the thing, Twitter exists. So before you went live, PlayStation could have just dropped the bomb on fucking Twitter saying, hey, here's what ours looks like. So then it took the oomph out of your little presentation there that was already disappointing to begin with. You see what I'm saying? So you have that. Then you decided to not only have a shit ton of ports from the Wii U and a shitload of remasters, you hit us with another fucking problem. Pokken Tournament. What the hell are you doing? Now we have paid DLC for Pokken Tournament, a port of a game from the Wii U, which was supposed to be the definitive edition on the Switch. Now you have paid DLC for this game? What are you doing? What in the hell is running through your mind? This is not a good look. Nobody wants to pay for DLC for this game. And it's not like you're getting a shit ton of stuff for this. No, it's not like you're getting Breath of the Wild type content here. No. This is a fighter game. You're giving us like 2 Pokemon, 3, I don't know, not that many. But you're giving us a little bit of Pokemon and like shit to put on our character. This is not a good look. This is fucking horrible, okay? Maybe if you In fact, fuck it, they mentioned one Pokemon and the little two that you can have in the match with you. That's not a good look. That's 3 Pokemon all together, and one of them is one that you fight with. That's not worth the price of admission. Okay? I don't give a damn about a little headset that my character wears. You don't even play as him. Okay? So, there you have another reason why this directly fucking sucked. Okay? And then you had people who wanted to know about that 5.0 leak. People were wanting to know about this. Hey, Nintendo, mention something about this. You didn't come out and give any information. You just acted like it didn't exist. Why? Why didn't you fucking acknowledge that? People want to know what's going on, what parts are real, what parts are fake, because that whole thing has a lot of people excited. They want to run out right now and get a Switch. You need to acknowledge this, because it makes the Switch look so much better than day one launch. So you need to acknowledge it, and yet you didn't do a damn thing. So on top of everything I just said, you have to add that on top of it as well. This is not a good direct. Sure, the game showing off was fine, but again, the games they showed were not all that impressive. They had, from my list I'm looking at here, 4 games, 4 that were not ports, remasters, or anything that had already been released on another system, except for one, and that's Ys. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. Not only that, not only with the 5.0 leak not being talked about, not even mentioning it, they didn't come out and say anything about how they plan on reaching 20 more million units sold in their second physical year, which is coming up soon. The beginning of that. How do you plan on kicking that off in the right direction? With this presentation, is not the right way. That is definitely not the right way to get that going, okay? This was definitely not the right way to start the new year. And you have to have something. You showed nothing. You showed 4 games, one of them which is a re-release, and one of them which is across the board. That means there's 2 games out of 4 that are IPs that are completely original, yet are part of a franchise or part of a series. Fucking insane. People wanted to know more about other franchises and other things. And you didn't touch on any of that. Not one. Okay? And that wraps up why this direct was pretty much the worst one to have. And they kicked it off in such a bad way. Now, what games did they have that made this direct stand out more than anything? You had the announcement of the final remix of The World Ends With You. If you even played the DS, you heard of this title. Hell, if you didn't play the DS and you knew somebody who had a DS, you heard of this game. This game basically transcended the DS audience. Okay, Square Enix made something special with The World Ends With You. Alright? It's coming to the Switch, and that's a good thing. This is one of those rare moments where a lot of people are like, I'm glad this game is getting ported. Me, myself, I don't really buy ports. I don't really care for them. I'm not buying Hyrule Warriors 3rd edition. I'm not doing that. I don't do that. So they're re-releasing this game from the DS. It was never re-released from the DS. It was originally on the DS and never again. So, to my knowledge, now if they did do something, I hadn't heard nothing about it. So it might be over in Japan or something, but not here in the States. So they're re-releasing it on the Switch. It's a good look, and they say there's going to be even more content in the game from what was originally there. That I can get on board with. Alright? Now, they also announced some other games. One that happens to be a standing franchise runner, and I do believe it's on the PS4 and Xbox One now, which is Ys 8. Ys 8 looked amazing. I don't know if it's out yet or not for the other 2 systems. I don't keep up with Ys. I never really cared to play it, nor even cared to even look into what it was. But it looks good. It does. It looks good for the Switch, and I might actually start playing it just because it's on a Nintendo system, and I tend to like games on Nintendo. Sorry if that hurts anybody's feelings out there. It's just a game I never got into. Then we have the two that are continuation franchises from Nintendo. You have Mario Tennis Ace or Aces, and then you have the Kirby Star Allies. And they didn't end the little mini direct with, either one of those games. How did they end the direct? They ended the direct, with Dark Souls Remastered. And they didn't say, oh, you're going to get a special edition version of this game on the Switch. That's why I said Twitter exists. PlayStation pretty much came and stole the thunder of this, because not even probably 10 minutes after that, they came out and showed Dark Souls, our special collector's edition. And yes, it's about $500, but still, if you've seen that collector's edition, you're just like, what the fuck is that? Nintendo had no announcement of a collector's edition or anything. So, why end it with that? You should have came in strong with that being your starter and finished strong. You should have rearranged some of these games, and you probably shouldn't have shown off as many as you did with it coming to ports and re-releases. You could have probably ended with The World Ends With You being your strongest title, which is the one that people seem to be talking the most about, instead of Dark Souls, and came in with Dark Souls. That would have probably made the direct a hell of a lot better, and probably not as many people going at you and saying how bad it is. But they probably still would have talked about how bad it was. It just wouldn't have made such a fucking disastrous looking show, because it was just that. You should have started with Dark Souls and ended with The World Ends With You, because more people are talking about The World Ends With You than they are Dark Souls, because Dark Souls is going to be on everything. You want to end with something that is purely you and what makes you stand out, which is The World Ends With You. And you didn't do that. So here we are. I'm sitting here talking to you about how Direct on 1/11/18 was fucking horrible and how big of a shit show it was. And if you have anything to say about how I don't say anything negative about Nintendo, here you go. I am telling you now, the mini Direct was just fucking directly disappointing with nothing to show for itself. 4 games worth anything at best, considering everybody else could have easily stole the fucking momentum out of it, because Nintendo just didn't want to come out there and do anything. Obviously, they didn't want to do anything, because if they did, they would have came out, they would have, at least put a little bit of effort in there, and, drawn out a little bit of a plan for the president saying, hey, I want to sell 20 million in my second physical year. How does he plan on doing that? Nothing to show for it. No mentions of Yoshi, no mentions of the Pokemon game, but paid DLC for a game that was released on the Wii U now. Yeah, people have a right to be pissed. So, if anything, I hope to God the next one is 10 times better than this. Otherwise, you might as well quit doing them and just ride the hype out, because it's gonna die out pretty fucking fast. This was a terrible direct. Anyone who's playing themselves talking about, oh, it wasn't that bad, is fucking just trying their damnedest to do damage control right now. This was a terrible fucking direct. Port after port after port after re-release after re-release after re-release. They ended with Dark Souls, which everyone's getting, instead of beginning with Dark Souls, building the hype up for that game throughout the fucking show, and ending strong with The World Ends With You, which is a more hyped game from what I've been seeing. More people are talking about The World Ends With You than Dark Souls, because it's a Nintendo system. Because that's a Nintendo game. It's not necessarily shared by anybody. That's how that could have gone way better. Hey man, we're going to start by showing you Dark Souls first. We're going to end by showing you The World Ends With You. And by the way, in the middle we have all this filler. That would have made it a hell of a lot better. But it still would have been problematic, because you only had 4 games. But at the end of the day, when you remove the remake or the re-release with The World Ends With You, you only have 3. And you still only have 2 once you realize one of those motherfuckers is again across the board. And the last two are franchises that are continuations from other games, Mario Tennis and Kirby. They could have showed off Pokemon on some scale. They could have showed off Metroid Prime 4 on some scale, giving some kind of information. They could have gave us some information on anything. But this was a weak direct with very little effort into it. Deuces.